an opportunity to go to work for aviation. At that time, it was Beech Aircraft. And so I was hired, but I was actually hired into the engineering department. And I kept thinking, I don't know anything about engineering, but I quickly learned I still did the same job, which meant that I worked directly with all of the customers and clients who came in to spec out the interiors of their aircraft. It allowed me an absolute career of a lifetime, being able to travel the world, work with very influential people, design absolutely the most gorgeous interiors in a very small space. So recently retired last May, I was given an opportunity to retire, finish a program that I was working on, and then retire. So since then, I thought I'd be very bored, but I've been as busy as I can be. But it does make me reflect on the lifelong relationships that I've made through my work experiences. And I just want to stress that as you move along, as you work in your job, how important it is to build that networking career. So basically, you can kind of read through these slides, and I don't know what you feel networking means. It's not really using people to jump ahead, to step on them, to gain stature in a company. It's building relationships. It's connecting with other people. Some people think it's kind of scary when you have to put yourself out there, but it really isn't. It's fun, and it's very educational when you work with other people to know their background, their history, where they've traveled, who they meet with, the interesting parts of their life and their careers. Again, the expectations, when you go to any type of event, you need to strike up conversations, put yourself out of your comfort zone. Maybe you're a shy person. But maybe the first one you meet and go with a friend, and then you meet a friend of your friend, and it's all about expanding your world, basically. And I say world because you don't know where this career will take you. You can learn so much. It could be advice, it could be a new contact, it could be a new opportunity. So just take every opportunity that you can to learn, and don't just stand back and be a wallflower. Join in the conversations. Remember that when you're at one of these events, you're trying to build a professional connection. So, like I said, I have friends from my very first job that I had out of college. In fact, I connected just a couple of weeks ago, and I've known her for probably 45 years, and we just kind of picked back up where we left off. So keep in mind that you never know where those connections will lead you and what they can lead you to when you're maybe exploring other opportunities for your career. I'm trying to think. Yeah, it just always act in a professional, friendly manner, because again, you don't know where you're going to meet this person again. Maybe a client, maybe an employer. Go over every conversation you have. Be conscious of those around you as humans, and treat those who have more than you as equal, and those who have less than you as kings and queens. It really, really pays off to treat people with kindness and respect. it turns into lasting friendships and partnerships. Practice gratitude. Feel every day that you're lucky to be where you are, what you have, the experiences that you're doing. That gratitude comes across to those that you're around, and it inspires people as well. They will want to be around you because you're a happy person. I know that this looks a little different to build your resources. Never ever stop connecting. Whether it's in person, whether you're writing an email, since everybody does everything, you know, without the phone conversation, but always remember that you're making a connection with any interaction that you have with those that you meet. Click down here a little bit. There we go. When you go to one of these networking events, make sure that you have the right materials. Have a business card. I know you're a student now, but you should be able to provide them a business card that has your name, maybe you put it with the K-State and the interior design, some type of logo there, but your contact information, the phone number that they can reach you with, your email, whether it be your personal email or your school email, but always have some type of handoff that you can give those around, so that they can get in contact with you. They may have an internship or know of an internship or know a company that would love to have you. So make sure that you've given them something substantial that they can pass on. With that comes being a good listener, because as you're talking, if you're not really paying attention to them and you're wondering what somebody over in the other side of the room is talking about, you might miss one of those opportunities where they list a company that may be looking for a new employee or some type of a adventure with their company. So listen and show interest to those people that you're speaking with at any type of a networking. I think I mentioned this before, kind of get out of your comfort zone. Don't just pal around. You can go to these networking events with a friend, but don't just stick with that friend. Get out of your comfort zone. Go talk to those other people that are at the event that you're attending. Don't be intimidated by people that have been out in the industry, that have a higher salary. They're looking for somebody who knows how to talk to clients, who knows how to go maybe capture more business for them. So get out of your comfort zone a little. Yeah, I mean, you can even practice in your room at night, meeting new people. And then it's not just a one-way street. As you go to these events, you may meet somebody who has some special niche in the design field, and later on in your career, somebody comes up and say, oh, I really need blah, 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 blah. And I can't find anybody that does that. And you think, oh, I met this person, and I've got their contact information. So again, it's a two-way street with what you can provide or what you can gain from any of these networking sessions. Regularly stay in touch with those people. It doesn't have to be you do it once a month. It may be once every 3 months, and just a friendly little note like, hey, thought of you the other day and wondered how you're doing, or what you're doing, or what interesting clients you've met with lately. Just something friendly. It jogs their memory that, oh yeah, I remember her. Oh, and they may have just had an opening come up in their company, or know another company that's had an opening, and putting your name out in front of them jogs their memory that, oh, I got somebody I could pass on for this job, or you know, any of the what you're doing the networking for. And then it's also important for you to surround yourself by all of those professionals who can help you grow, help you basically go on the journey. They're there that you can ask them questions. You can make good enough friendships that you will feel comfortable asking them any question and not feeling like it's a burden to ask somebody, you know, that type of a question. And that's the next slide. Do not look as your competitors. Look at these peers as partners. Once you look at somebody as a competitor, then they're not going to be nearly as likely to help you, and they will be a competitor because they might have the opportunity to speak not highly of you, but negatively of you. So if you look at these people that you're networking with as partners, you can brainstorm, you can bounce ideas off of each other. And it really becomes a beneficial partnership that you have. And then also, I know some employees look at their boss and think they hate their boss just basically because they're their boss. You should really get to know your boss or your manager. That person, whether it be male or female, can turn into the best mentor you've ever had. And I know I was with my company for almost 40 years, but I know that's not the norm today. So with that, employees move to other jobs more frequently. And if you've developed a great relationship with your boss or your manager, then when he or she leaves, he may recommend you to take his position, or he may find that he's got a position with the new company he's gone to. So showing respect and partnering as a mentor with your boss or your manager really is beneficial in so many ways. Again, connect on a social level. Mike will tell you I'm not very good at that. You know, the LinkedIn and the Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, all of those are your generation's way of connecting and getting your name out there. Always be cognizant, which I'm sure everybody has told you, of what you put out on social media, because it can benefit you, or it can really harm you with what, because I will tell you, prospective employers go out there and check all of those social media accounts to see if that is the type of person they want representing their company and their organization. So basically the steps to do this is make a plan of what you want to do. And that's no different than any other goal that you have. And then be a joiner. Join everything that you can. You never know where that next contact is gonna come from. But if you haven't joined, or you haven't exposed yourself, it's not going to happen. And then remember to, in your head, know what your message is. What do you want to portray? What do you want your walking business card to say? Just a short little know where you want to head. If you want, hold on just a second, my phone is going off. If you want to work strictly in the healthcare field, then have a little something, 30 seconds in your head of how you would promote yourself. If you want to look in transportation, which is, what happened with me with it'd be aviation, it would be trains, it would be buses, automobiles, anything like that. There's interior design for all of transportation, but kind of look at and think what you want and get your message in your head so that you're as you're talking and you're networking, you can explain that. And then make your presence known when you, just like I said, you go out and meet people in networking. Don't miss that opportunity. You don't know where your paths are going to cross. And remember, it takes time. It isn't instant gratification. It does take time to develop and create these relationships. It is like fine wine. They need time to mature. And again, make your presence known. Your network's bigger than you think it might be. Your friends, your neighbors, your family, your colleagues, your clients, acquaintances, you never know who might have an opportunity that works for you. And then don't be afraid to reach out to any in your network. And it's just as important to build that network. But again, like I said, it takes time to nurture those contacts. The key is quality, not quantity. Not just how many business cards you've collected. It's the quality of those cards. Funny little story, as I was cleaning out my desk to take personal items home, I can't even tell you how many business cards I had. And I started going through those business cards, and it was such a walk down memory lane to go back through those business cards and remember the person, remember the project, or remember the company that they worked for and what they helped with, or what they supplied, or what we purchased from them. Or so it's nice. I know that when you're first starting out, you won't realize how many people you will come across in your career, and you'll forget them until there's something like a business card that brings that memory back to you. So I know I went through that pretty quick, but please, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer anything or give you any advice I can.
So I have a question, Joe.
Okay.
You did spend a long time designing interiors of aircraft, which is again a pretty special path within the profession. Is there a good market or potential for the students on this call to think about that?
I believe there is. I mean, it's not for everybody. I realize that, but there are several different aviation companies, and of course, the one that I worked for here in Wichita usually has an opening for at least an intern, and they like to do interns because that lets them test an employee. But you've got Gulfstream, you've got several different aviation companies, Piper and Gulfstream and Learjet, and well, Learjet just went out of business, sorry. But there are companies all over, and it is a specialized field. You do have to learn some of the aviation terms, but that, coming to work with the background that you have gives you a foot in the door to then be able to learn the other specialized items. The automotive, I mean, I know we partnered one year with Toyota on some projects, and then I partnered. We had a Jaguar edition aircraft, and so automotive has the same field. They call theirs they call their styling. Well, I assume each one calls it something different, but they do all have interiors people who work for them. So it's buses and trains. Excuse me, buses and trains. They all have interior people who work for them. So Ford, Ford Motor Company, they've got interiors. And Winnebago and some of the travel, the large travel motorhomes. It's fun. It's fun when you step outside, residential or commercial or the healthcare industry.
So Delaney asks, is networking best done in person, or is it possible to make the same level of connection online as well? Which do you think is best?
Well, I think it's in person. I think we discount these connections more than they should be. And if it weren't for what was going on in the world today, this would be in person. And I think it's easier to talk. I think you get a better sense of a person when it's in person.
Yeah. And I think I told most of the first years, typically this event is in person, and we usually have a luncheon where you guys can actually talk to other people and people like Joe and shake her hand. And you could start this way, certainly, but it's very hard to maintain or build a relationship, I think.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No.
Molly asked, what is it like to work in those unconventional interiors?
I guess for me, it wasn't unconventional because the hardest part for me working in that industry was and I've said this many times, I knew the and I put it in quotes, the good stuff. And so I knew all of that. And then I had to go home and live within my own budget, because in aviation, money is no object. If you have to ask what it costs, then you can't afford it. So it was not, it was the norm to spec a carpet that was $500, $600 a square yard, and more than that. Everything was always leather. There wasn't vinyl. It was always leather. It was always wool carpet or wool with silk carpet. So everything was more than what you would see in residential or commercial. And then I'm looking around. Then I had to go home and live within my own budget and make something work, knowing what was really good.
Yeah, just for reference, residential carpet, $27 a square yard, maybe up to 40, 50. You start talking $500, $600 a square yard, it's the good stuff.
Yeah, it's the good stuff. I mean, a lot of it's it doesn't go through a weaving or a loom. A lot of it is hand fed in, hand sheared, hand carving. But and then you've got other regulations for aviation. We're kind of getting off the networking topic, but that's okay. Aviation has some different regulations than what you would see for residential, commercial, or healthcare. The burn requirements are extremely stringent because you're basically flying around in a tube. So everything, even though wool is inherently flame resistant, that still has to have a flat fire retardant backing put on it so that, it doesn't burn. Even we use for the wood cabinetry and that type thing, the finish that was put on top of the wood veneer had to be fire retardant. So many things that were different in aviation. When an aircraft gets up in the air, it expands and contracts due to the pressure. So the way you design interior components, because it's not going to stay the same size, there's a difference in what you cover those components with, knowing that they're going to contract.
I remember when you gave my materials and methods class a tour of your office in the plant, and you showed us the material books that you present to your clients, and they were leather bound. Yeah, we're lucky if we can just tape some materials on a piece of foam core, but have a leather bound material book was okay. This is different. Brittany asked a question: how do you feel your design degree from K-State sets you up for your career? Did you find yourself more prepared than others at your job that did not go through the program here?
Well, I'm not sure, and I've said this before, Mike's heard me say this before, I'm not sure I'd pass today. When I graduated, the curriculum was not nearly as stringent as it is today. And knowing that I've retired, we hired K-State graduate in design. Oh my gosh, she was so well prepared that if you follow the curriculum and you listen to your instructors, you will come out extremely well prepared from the K-State program. I'm blown away with what you're taught, the presentations you are given, and so much interaction that you have, the time that is involved in all of the studios. And I truly believe the instructors always have your best interest to receive the best job offers once you're through the program. I'm blown away with what you are provided.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. I am too. I mean, I see the jobs these guys are getting, and I'm like, wow, that's cool. So Abby asked a good question. When reaching out to people through email to obtain internships, would using your school email or personal email be best to reach out to them?
I personally think school. I mean, you can probably include in the verbiage of your question, you can probably include either or, but the fact that I don't think they're going to hire you if you don't have a college degree today, unless you had 20 years of experience. But coming right out of college, I think having that edu behind your email is helpful.
Yeah, I agree, particularly if it's for an internship. A Gmail account, people might actually have those blocked. Okay, any other questions for Joe?